However, I will say that if the Bengals happen to drop this game, or let me say if Miami takes this game, then, oh boy, okay, Wick Nation, I will be with you and I will be
Oh
rocking
my
the
gosh,
Dolphins shirt next week. So if the Dolphins win,
dude.
I am wearing the Dolphins shirt on the show next week, and I'll be switching and I'll be pulling a Udoka and I'll be going into I'm leaving Cincinnati. I'm going to the Dolphins. So stay tuned and let's see what happens.
This is former Chicago Bear Desmond Clark. And y'all hear me on many podcasts, but when y'all hear me on Pick'em Pros, y'all know it's all about family. This ain't just business.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. You know who it is. I am Derrick Thompson.
And I'm Diego Thompson.
And who are we?
We're the Pick'em Pros.
We are the Pick'em Pros coming back at you in the house with our new show, Who You Got, part of the Pick'em Pros universe. My man Diego and I, my 12-year-old son, we have been posting since the top of this year, talking about all the hottest topics in sports. And now we are officially launching our first of many shows. This one's called Who You Got, where we are explicitly picking the games. So we're picking the games every week throughout this NFL season. We'll pick through the regular season. Those picks, the winner and loser, will have money that are going to go to various causes, which we'll talk about in a minute. So we're picking for a good cause. Then during the NFL playoffs, we'll start another round of picks. We'll compete there. Then we have March Madness in the NBA playoffs. So that's kind of our cycle of Who You Got. So this is the 4th episode of Who You Got. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to us go back and forth and pick these games for a great cause. Also, we are on all podcast platforms now. So thanks to our team, we are now on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Download the Pick'em Pros podcast and you can hear Who You Got, as well as the other shows that we'll be rolling out with. And lastly, if you're watching us on YouTube, please click that subscribe button and subscribe and turn on your notifications so you know when our new shows are rolling out. All right. Well, man, hey, you ready to get into it and pick these games this week?
I'm ready. Okay. Let's go.
Okay. Now you have a lead on me. So to keep track, to backtrack, and we're going to recap what we did last week in week 3, and we're going to pick all the games officially for week 4. But to recap, I slightly beat you week 1. Okay. You won week 2 and week 3. So overall, you are up by 3 games. So we're going to show exactly what we picked for week 3. But I believe your record's 26 and 21. You're above 500, doing well. You've got me by 3 games. I went 8-8 this past week. I did a Jason Garrett, 8-8. My overall record's 23 and 24. I've got to step it up. I am going to step it up. I'm going to do the LeBron chase down block, and the money's going to go to my cause. But let's talk about our causes, because that's one of the main reasons why we're here. Tell everybody the cause that you're playing for. So throughout this 18-week NFL season, if you beat me overall, where does the $2,500 go to in your name?
When I beat you, the $2,500 is going to go to the Eat.Learn.Play Foundation, Steph and Ayesha Curry in Oakland, California.
All right. Well, great cause, great team there, and I know you're a big Steph fan, so that's cool that your first bit of money will go there. But unfortunately, they're not going to get the grand prize. They are going to get the lower amount. They'll still get $500, which would be great. But the $2,500 is going to go to my cause because I'm going to chase you down and I'm going to win. My overall record is going to be better when this NFL season's over. The funds are going to go to the Jalen Rose Leadership Academy in Detroit. That's who I'm playing for, and they're the ones that are going to get the winning share. So we all know that's going to happen. You know I'm going to chase you down, right?
No, you're under 500.
That's
Like,
okay. Okay.
imagine being under 500. That's horrible. Oh my gosh.
So it's been an interesting season, but I have my sea legs under me.
Y'all are blaming it on the season? Jeez.
I have a good feel for everybody now, and I'm about to go on a tear. But hey, before we get to that, we're going to do the recap here in a second, and we're going to go into our first segment of Is It Just Me? But before we get into that, dude, why are you on here with all this Panthers gear? Now, I know you claim to be a Panther fan, Panther homer. That's the first game you ever went to, Panther fanatic and all of that. I got Panther stuff in your room. However, didn't you give up on the Panthers last week?
Okay, well, first of all, can I not support my team? Like, geez, like I can't wear Panthers stuff. Like that's just horrible. And then last week, they weren't playing that good.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't expect them to win,
Okay.
but they won, so that was good for me.
Okay.
But I did not pick them, so that's kind of a bittersweet moment. But man, I don't care, man. Panthers finally won a game.
The Panthers finally won. I picked the Panthers. Okay, I picked them. I knew they were going to win. I got that right. That was one of the few that I got right that I could claim.
Yep.
I'm proud of that. While you, meanwhile, I believe your exact words were, I just don't have it in me to pick them anymore. If they win, they win, but I just can't do it. Isn't that pretty much what you said last week?
Basically, it was like if they win, good for them, something like that.
All right.
Good for them.
Good for them. Okay, good for them. And now you're back on the bandwagon. Okay, all right, yes. All right.
And I still have that 3-game cushion, so I'm fine.
That is true. You still have the 3-game cushion. All right. Well, hey, let's get into a fun segment that we've launched here that we've been doing at the end, but we've gotten a lot of comments on it. We want to actually start with it, and then we'll go into our recap of week 3, and then, of course, we'll pick all the games of week 4 because we agree on 10 and we disagree on 6. So we're going to get to all those picks here momentarily. But before we do that, let's go into our segment, Is It Just Me? So these are just things that we observe, not necessarily saying we're the only ones that observe them, but just things that we notice are the hot topics that we want to talk about through the NFL right now. So what is yours? What is the Is It Just Me or moment that you want to talk about?
Okay, so mine is, about a guy who, people have been very high on and has been, one of the top QBs in the NFL for a very long time.
Okay.
But so that leads into my Is It Just Me? Is it just me, or is Russell Wilson done?
Ooh, done. Okay, that's strong. So
because can I get my reasoning? So usually he starts seasons off hot. He's amazing. People talk about him for MVP, and then he deflates and doesn't get any votes. But yeah, that's usually how it is. But this season he hasn't really been doing all that. The first week lost to the Seahawks. Second week didn't really play that well. Barely beat the Texans, and then this week, the only way they won was their defense, which is actually pretty good. Yeah. And Russell had only 185 passing yards and no touchdowns, and not that many completions either. So so this makes me wonder, what is he gonna do for the rest of the season? If he doesn't, if he starts off slow, then what is he gonna do? So, is he done?
Is he done? Okay. Man, that's interesting because they just signed him to that huge extension.
Yep, 7 more years.
Yes, and the $240-some million. That'll be bad, but they are 2-1. So you think those are flukes?
They did beat the Texans. Congratulations. And then the win against the Niners, that was all their defense. And then Jimmy G stepping into the out of bounds at the end when he was throwing. So yeah, just sort of a fluke, but I gotta give their defense credit though.
Their defense is playing.
Yeah, their defense is better than I thought, but their offense isn't really doing much.
Well, let us know. Again, if you're listening on podcasts or watching on YouTube, chime in, let us know. Is Russell Wilson done? Should the Denver Broncos have held off and built around or gone after another quarterback? So we'd love to get your opinion. Again, we love to shout out those that are checking our show out, and then we'll have some of our guests on from time to time. So if you'd like to come on and hang with us, let us know. Send us a comment on that. All right. So a good one by you. I have one that I've been talking about for a while, so it's going to be a repeat topic. So nothing new, and it's a hot topic that's been going on. But let's see here. You know what? Nah. Maybe we should. Nah, this is a kid show. We shouldn't get into that one. Let's not get into that one. All right. So let's go. For those of you listening, you got to watch this on YouTube to see what I just pulled up. We're not going to touch that topic. All right. I want to see your reaction on that one. But what we are going to touch on is the Dallas Cowboys. So, my man, I noticed my man Dak was very happy on the sidelines last week on that win. Rob was on it. He didn't seem to have the same energy and enthusiasm, and he's talking about coming back possibly next week. I wonder why. Yeah, I don't know. Is it just me, or is he rushing back? Is he starting to feel some of the pressure there? Because I know somebody was very happy last week. I mean, this guy was getting the ball, was just ecstatic. You know what I mean? So I know CD.
Yeah, one-handed touchdown.
I know CD's like, hey, man, take all the time you need. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Because what is it? Is it just me, or does Dak have trouble hitting 88s? All right, because we had this with Dez. So Dez, one of the best receivers in Cowboy history, and for whatever reason, again, Romo would hit that guy all the time, and Dak could just not build that rapport with him, and he's having trouble building that with CD. And as I said, I feel for the Cowboys to really get to that next level and advance in the playoffs, they're going to have a great CD Lamb. You've got to feed him the ball. You have to find a way to build that rapport and get him the ball. So is it just me, or are they going to keep playing Cooper Rush? Something to look out for. We'll see. We'll see what happens next week. Stay tuned for that. So that is our Is It Just Me? All right. Well, let's get into our quick recap, and then we got to get into these games because we have some good ones to pick. So I can't wait.
Yeah.
Starting with that Thursday night one against the Dolphins and the Bengals, because we disagree on that one. So I can't wait to talk about that. But before we do that real quick, let's just pull up to recap. Again, so you are 26 and 21 overall. Okay, nice. You were 9-7 last week. Okay. Anything?
I was 10-6 last week.
Yeah, you were 10-6 the week before that, so that was really good. You were 10-6 week 2, 9-7 week 3. But tell us about this week, man.
All right, man. So this week, man, so 7-9, pretty good week, better than you. Yeah, that's not saying a ton, but 9-7, better than you. 8-8, it's not saying a ton, but yeah, the one I'm gonna cover is the Packers versus Buccaneers.
Oh man, I knew you
because I told you Aaron Rodgers is the guy. He's throwing to receivers, throwing to Romeo Doubs and Lazard and all of the new receivers that they got. And then Tom Brady, I told you that he might have been a little done. Because it's just not. He's had a couple down games. It haven't really been down games. They just haven't been like because last year was like number one in everything. These last 3 weeks have been very average. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Very middle of the pack numbers. You know what I mean?
They haven't been stellar. Again, see, you make me sound like a Brady fan and apologist. I'm getting calls from family and whatnot saying, "Oh, and when did you become a Tom Brady fan?" I'm like, okay, I'm not.
Yeah, when you become a Tom Brady fan?
I'm not a Tom Brady fan, but I'm just calling what I see. You know, is he the Tom Brady from even 5 years ago? No, but still one of the top quarterbacks. Feel they're going to win their division, make a deep run in the playoffs, and the stories of his demise are greatly exaggerated. He is dealing with a finger injury, but I think they're going to bounce back this week. That's another game that we disagree on that we're going to get to. So
yeah, well, actually, about the division, nobody said that they're not going to win the division.
okay.
But now I'm thinking about it, kind of observing the landscapes of things. You might want to consider the Panthers as a threat.
Okay, you know what? You need to stop.
It's kind of possible. You got to consider them as a threat.
You know what, son? You're going to be crying on here next because you were so high. I've got footage of you this summer when you are on this Panthers roller coaster. You're on the Panthers roller coaster. So, and again, we're coming from you from North Cackalack, okay? So we're here in Panther country, Panther Nation. But you were on the high when Baker was signed, guaranteeing they were going to make the playoffs and all that. Then just last week, you were off, just distraught, couldn't even bring yourselves to pick them to go against the Saints. All right.
The Saints are a good team. They're a good team. They're a good team. The Saints are a good team.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, they got Thomas.
All right.
Yeah, shout out to him. Yeah,
shout out to Henry. Okay, but now you're saying they're gonna win. They're gonna win the division?
I didn't say that. I just said that they're contenders. They can contend. Right. It's going to go all the way down to the wire, and Tom Brady is going to have to pull off a miracle from the win this division.
All right. Well, let's get into, because we really want to get into picking these week 4 games, but let's quickly recap what I did. So again, I did the Garrett 8-8. Okay, I did not have a losing record for week 3.
Congratulations.
So congratulations to me on that. Again, I did pick the Panthers to win against the Saints, so I was happy about that. The Falcons, I've been riding them a lot this year, so I knew they were going to get that win.
Really?
And again,
you're talking about the Atlanta Falcons win over the Seattle Seahawks. Nobody cares about that game. Nobody cares.
Who'd you pick in that game?
I picked the Seahawks, but you're bragging all about that game when nobody cares about it.
Thank you very much. And then also I like to call out Tennessee Titans. See, Tennessee Titans are going to win that division. They have the showdown against the Colts this week, which we disagree on. So we're going to talk about that. But before we get into week 4, the game we have to touch on, the Dolphins and the Bills. Oh, my. That was a showdown. We both lost that one because we both picked the Buffalo Bills. They look like a juggernaut. Now, I knew that game was going to be close. So I was saying it was going to be a close game, which it ended up being a close game. So I was right about that. Definitely wrong about the outcome, but that was just a strange game. The way that the time of possession worked out and everything. It's like Buffalo totally controlled that game from a standpoint. But, hey, you have to give the Dolphins credit. They pulled it out. Tua knocked out of the game, came back, but they still found a way to make that happen without really being able to hit Tyreek. But, hey, shout out to Miami Dolphin fans because y'all have been commenting. You guys were hyped, saying that the Bills were who you thought they were. You're going to win the division, all of that. So big shout out to you guys. We love it. We love it when fan bases chime in and comment. We love that. So please keep on doing that because you got a big showdown this week. Now, I personally, and we'll actually get to our first game, but I personally don't think you're still going to win the division. But I will say, if you beat the Bengals on Thursday, I can see you win the division. So with that, you want to go ahead and pick these games?
All right, let's do it.
All right, so let's go ahead and start picking our games. So let's get into the 6 that we disagree on, and then we'll finish off with the 10 that we agree on. So with the 6 that we disagree on, this Thursday night showdown, sticking with the theme of the Miami Dolphins. All right, so the Miami Dolphins travel to Cincinnati to play the Bengals. Ooh, this is going to be a big one. Now, shout out to my guy, Wick Nation, who was commenting on our YouTube channel. He again says that he said the rematch between the Dolphins and the Bills later this year doesn't even matter because the Miami Dolphins already have the division sewn up. So I said, hey, I wouldn't go that far, but if the Dolphins win against the Bengals, which I think you actually have them winning, then I will say they'll win the division. But who do you have for this game? Dolphins and Bengals.
Yeah, well, I do have the Miami Dolphins beating the Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
One, because the Dolphins are on a hot streak. They're 3-0. Tua, Tyreek, and Waddles, they're losing their minds.
Yes.
You know, I think it's going to be a big game for Tyreek and Waddle again at prime time, and then the Bengals are kind of a mess. I think they kind of might be done. And Joe Burrow, he's being okay. He's okay. Joe Burrow's okay. Mixon, I have him on my fantasy team. He's been very disappointing because I could have drafted Chubb and I didn't.
I don't know why.
Yeah, so that's pretty sad. And then Chase isn't really getting the ball, and then they barely beat they beat him by 15, but it was still kind of an interesting game. And then they lost to the Cooper Rush Cowboys.
They did.
And then they're and the Dolphins are just too good, man. So I have the Dolphins.
The Dolphins are a great team. I love watching the Dolphins. The Dolphins are must-see TV. Every week they're on, I have to watch them. I really wanted to get to Baltimore to see them play a couple weeks ago. So big fan of the Dolphins. I was looking at their record. They have a really tough stretch later in the season where they have 3 really tough games. But other than that, they're starting to have a favorable schedule because they've had a tough beginning to their season, a tough schedule. But this game is critical. I have the Bengals in this game because I feel that the Dolphins, again, starting off 3-0, they've got all that momentum. They're the hot team. The Bengals still have a very tough schedule. And they lost 2 games that were winnable early to start this season. So this is a game that at some point, the Bengals are going to have to start beating some good teams, right? Yep. They're going to get in the playoffs and do what I feel they're going to do. So I think they are going to surprise people because a lot of people are down on the Bengals, including you. I am not jumping off the Bengals bandwagon just yet. I am sticking with the Bengals, and I have the Bengals winning this game. So that's my pick. However, I will say that if the Bengals happen to drop this game, or let me say if Miami takes this game, then, oh boy, okay, Wick Nation, I will be with you, and I will be rocking the Dolphins shirt next week. So if the Dolphins win, I am wearing the Dolphins shirt on the show next week, and I'll be switching, and I'll be pulling a Udoka, and I'll be going into I believe in Cincinnati. I'm going to the Dolphins. So stay tuned and let's see what happens after next week. We'll see what happens. All right. So that's that game. We'll leave it there. All right. So let's go to the second game that we disagree on. The Tennessee Titans at the Indianapolis Colts. Who do you have for this one?
Yeah, well, I did pick the Colts to win the division, so I do have them winning. They are at home. I have them winning because that's the only reason, because this is going to be a tight division race through the season. Well, actually, the Jaguars are pretty good. They blew out the Chargers this week, so that could be a three-way race at the end, But I have the Colts winning mainly because they're at home.
Okay. Well, I get it. I mean, they're at home. These are the top 2 teams, which should be the top 2 teams in the division. I've been riding the Titans. I feel like I've picked the Titans every week this season.
Yeah, you have. I think you actually have.
But I think this is what they're going to get. Again, the Colts surprise people by winning and beating the Chiefs at home. I said that was a trap game, so I was worried about that. I did not have the courage of my conviction to pick the Colts, but I feel that they're going to have a letdown. These 2 teams know each other very well. I feel the Titans will have their number and will go into the Natty and take this. So I've got them going in and winning this. All right. So the next game, the third game that we disagree on, we have the Buffalo Bills at the Baltimore Ravens. And I actually changed my pick just before the show on this one. So who do you have? I think you're picking.
No, this is going to be a really good game, in Baltimore.
Yes.
Lamar Jackson, A lot of people saying he's gonna win the MVP this year. How he's been playing, and but the Bills, they did just come off a devastating loss. Their offensive coordinator was smashing tables and everything like the Bills fans are before the game.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're gonna lose back-to-back big games in a row. I just don't see it. Because Josh Allen's gonna come back and lose his mind. Diggs, everyone. I just don't see them lose back-to-back big games in a row.
This is I feel you, and that's why initially, we were riding in the car this morning, making our picks initially. I was thinking the same thing. Hey, Buffalo, they're not going to lose 2 in a row. They're going to want to come back and get back on the winning track, but they are going to lose 2 in a row. So they're going to lose 2 in a row. That's going to be the talk of the town. The Ravens at home going to be strong. And Lamar Jackson is going to find a way to win this, and then you're going to start to really hear some more MVP talk around Lamar Jackson. I'm taking the Baltimore Ravens. Shout out to Sherelle, Ravens Nation. I'm going with the Ravens this week. So that's my pick there. We disagree on that one, my man. We'll see what happens there. All right. So the 4th out of 6 games that we disagree on. Oh, wow. Look at this one. The Arizona Cardinals come to North Cackalack to play the Carolina Panthers. Wow, Diego, who are you picking this week? Are you back on the Carolina Panthers bandwagon or not? What's going on?
Well, I might not be on the bandwagon. You never know. I could. But yeah, this is in the famous, well-known Bank of America Stadium. And Kyler is coming in with a big loss from the Rams, and I don't know if he studied. Yeah. And for this one, he might have been underestimating Baker. He might not study. You know what I mean? And at home, Panthers got momentum. McCaffrey's going to be running, and catching. The receiver's going to be making plays, and Baker's going to be slinging it. And I think the Panthers are going to get a steal.
Yeah, they're going to get a steal. Okay. Well, that would be great. For them to go 2-2. Then I could see some momentum building up and getting the confidence and all of that. Great. Although Panthers have a very tough schedule coming up. So they're on the easy part of their schedule right now. So we'll see how you're talking. But I have the Arizona Cardinals in this game, and Kyler is studying right now as we speak. Have firsthand knowledge of that. He is studying.
Kyler is in his room playing video games.
Well, that is his form of study. He is studying. He's studying that way, practicing, going against the Panthers defense. They will be ready. He's going to be running all over the field, and I have the Cardinals to come in and snatch that game there. So we disagree on that one. Okay, the next game, oh boy, the Sunday night showdown. Oh man, the 2 guys that we say you never bet against are going head to head. The Kansas City Chiefs travel to Tampa Bay, or it might not be in Tampa Bay. It might be somewhere in the Midwest with the storm coming in. But regardless, they'll be playing Sunday night. Oh boy, who you got in this one?
Okay, well, first of all, the never bet against Brady movement is over. Now it's like always bet against Brady. Ooh. And then Chiefs, Mahomes, this is the new guy on the block. Yeah, never bet. It's NBAM. Never bet against Mahomes.
Didn't he lose last
week? Because when you absolutely have to have it, he'll come through and win it for you. So I think he's gonna walk into wherever they're playing and beat Tom Brady and the Buccaneers with Travis Kelce and all the other receivers they have. Yeah.
So what happened last week?
That wasn't his fault.
That wasn't his fault. Oh, whose fault was it?
It was Travis Kelce's.
Oh, it was Kelce's fault. Okay.
Because he dropped the touchdown.
Oh, did he? And your mom might get you because Kelce's her boo. So she
is a fellow tight end, so
I just a little tight end like you. Okay. All right. Blaming that on Kelsey. You might want to blame that on somebody else and not Kelsey. You might have
blame it on Juju or something. Maybe he did a TikTok or something before the game.
You might not get dinner.
You never know.
By going against Kelsey like that. All right. So let's go to the last game that we disagree on this week, which is the Monday night showdown. Ooh, the division game against the team that you really wanted to pick to win the Super Bowl.
No, I did. I wanted the Buffalo Bills.
Your Los Angeles Rams, the team you love so much, are going against the San Francisco 49ers. All right. Who you got in this one on Monday night?
This might surprise you, but I was actually gonna pick the Niners.
What?
I was, because they're at home and they had Jimmy G and everything. But then, and even maybe they lost, I was still thinking about it. Okay. But how badly the loss was. Now they only scored 10 points, and Jimmy G stepping in the back of the end zone and just letting that amazing Broncos defense shut them down. I just had to go the Rams, because you got Cooper Kupp, the best receiver in the NFL, by the way. He's getting rushing TDs now. Did you hear? I heard that he clocked out at 20.5 miles an hour on his touchdown run.
Yeah, I already gave him his props last week. He is the man, no doubt. Proven yet again to have a great season. But yeah, the Niners. So they are at home, like you said. I've got the Niners in this game. They coming off of that bad loss. They desperately need to get a win. They can't fall too far behind. I have the Niners actually getting to the Super Bowl, so I personally need them to start putting some wins together.
Both of your Super Bowl teams are 1-2.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
They're both bouncing back.
You're 2-1.
They're both going to come out with monster wins this week, and they'll both be 2-2. But to get back to the Niners, their defense, they always match up great against the Rams. Their defense, I feel like they have their number. They really won a bunch of games against them before that NFC Championship game, to where you can argue that they should have won that one. So I feel the 49ers are going to find a way to pull this one out, go to 2-2, and really start to rally behind Jimmy G and get
Jimmy G.
I have the Niners in this one. So those are the 6 that we disagree on. Now let's get to the 10 that we agree on. All right, you ready for that?
All right, I'm ready.
All right, so let's go through these 10. So the first out of 10 that we agree on, we have the Minnesota Vikings, and all my Minnesotians going against Henry's New Orleans Saints. And this is the one that's in London, right?
Yep. So it's at 9:30 a.m.
Okay, 9:30 a.m. Eastern on Sunday. So don't miss this one. Make sure you get up early, especially those of you on the West Coast or overseas. Get up, check this out. But yeah. So who do we have in this one?
We both have the Vikings. They beat the Lions last week. Pretty close game. Yep. But the Vikings did win, and being in London, Jefferson hasn't really been the same since the week 1. Yeah. When I think he can get back on track against the Saints defense. So I have the Vikings.
Okay. All right. Yeah. We both have the Vikings this game. I've got the Vikings winning their division. So this is definitely, they need to get, I guess, sorry, but not sorry, Henry, one of our one of our big fans that always checks out all of our shows. Henry, I'm your jinx. So if I pick the Saints, they would lose. So, hey, they actually might have some hope in winning this, since I am going against them. So we got to keep that rolling, man. So big shout out to you. But yeah, we both have Minnesota in this one. So the next one, the second game out of 10 that we agree on, we have the Cleveland Browns traveling to the ATL to play the Atlanta Falcons. Who do we have in this?
The Mercedes Dome.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I have the Browns in this one, because Chubb and Hunt, just going to be running all over them. And then it looks like Amari Cooper, back to looked to like he's back like one of the top receivers in the NFL again.
That's
because
right.
he's been playing very well. So I have the Browns beating the Falcons. It's probably going to be pretty bad. So yeah.
Well, I'm a little nervous about this game actually because the
Yeah,
Falcons.
your Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, the Falcons have been playing extremely hard this year. They've been in all their
Ooh.
games. They again won last week as I predicted. They're going to be at home. I feel that they're going to come out ready, and they feel that this is a game they can get. So I'm a little nervous about this game, but I still have the Browns. I think the Browns will just be too talented, Chubb, and then we're going to run all over them. So I think they're going to pull it off. But this is going to be a close game. The Falcons are going to come out ready to play, so don't sleep on them. We both have the Browns in this one. All right, the third game that we agree on, we have the Washington Commanders traveling to the Big D, Dallas, to play Cooper Rush and the Dallas Cowboys. We think unless Dak jumps in front and is able to get in on this game and keep that starting spot. Who do we have in this one, man?
So I would be very surprised if Dak plays. I would be very desperate of him. But I do have the Cowboys beating the Commanders because Cooper Rush is on a roll, guys. He's on a roll. Do you see him on Monday Night Football? He was slinging it.
Yeah. Well, the second half. He had a rough first half, but
the second half.
Yeah.
The second half, he was slinging it, man. Do you also see Tony Pollard? He got 100 yards rushing.
Yeah, he did.
He got 100 yards. The backup running back got 100 yards rushing.
That's crazy.
And and Cooper Rush, he was great, but he could have got more yards. TD dropped like a bomb, but of course he caught that TD, so that kind of made up for it. So I have Cooper Rush and the Cowboys winning this one.
All right, Cooper Rush and the Cowboys. And man, Zeke had a couple, at least in the first half, he had a couple good runs there in the game. Had a little burst there, so that wasn't bad. So
after he had to come out the game.
That's right. Tap it out. So he does that a lot, man. It taps out of the games. But okay. All right. So we both have the Cowboys to win that game and continue on. And I think that'll put them at 3-1 for the season. So that'll put them in good shape. All right. The fourth game that we agree on, 4 out of 10, we have the Seattle Seahawks are traveling to Detroit. Man, it seems like Detroit plays almost every game at home. So who do we have in this one?
Yeah, well, we have the Detroit Lions winning this one. I have been a little harsh, I gotta admit, on the Lions in the past couple weeks about how they blow games sometimes, but I do think they're gonna get this one. The Seahawks, they were kind of down and. But I don't really know how they're because their quarterback is kind of iffy, because he threw a game-sealing pick at the end. Yeah, it was like right in the corner's hand. Yeah. So I think the Lions are going to win this one, and they're scoring a lot of points this year too.
They are scoring a lot of points. Yes, I have to give it to them for sure. So they're turning it around. They're building the culture. We like to, have fun with them and whatnot. But no, we really liked it was great seeing them in Hard Knocks. Love the culture that they're building there. And they're doing some big things in Detroit. So shout out to them. They should get a win and go 2-2.
Yeah, and it's like every time they play, it's like a close, high scoring, like it's so weird. Yeah. Like every single game, like a 1:00 high scoring,
Sure. And they are on at 1 a lot. Yeah.
Yes. Just like that. But the Panthers play at 4 this week.
And the Panthers be getting a lot
Finally. Man, they don't play at 1:00.
Yeah.
Hard to get used to.
All right. So the fifth game that we agree on, we have the Chicago Bears. Oh man, Uncle Dwayne. Yeah. Chicago Bears, they are winning. They're 2-1 so far this year. So we're hearing it from Uncle Dwayne and all the rabid Bears fans. They travel to MetLife Stadium in New Jersey to play the New York Giants. Who do we have in this one?
We have the Giants. Saquon Barkley is going to just be the guy. He's going to get another big 40-yard run. And the Bears, I feel like they've been kind of just overhyped a little bit, I guess.
Yeah.
Because they played the easy teams on their schedule. Their loss was against the Packers at home, and they beat like the Texans, and they did beat the Niners, but I mean, I don't see them doing that again. And and then the Giants will be bouncing back. And I also heard this stat. It's like Justin Fields has only attempted 45 passes this year.
Yes, that is crazy. That's absolutely crazy. But hey, they're playing hard. They're playing hard. They, are winning. So hey, shout out to the Bears Nation. They did not give up. They have one of the best fan bases ever. So I like to personally mess with the Bears because my brother is one of the biggest Bears fans in the world. So that's why I take my little shots, because I'm really just taking a shot at my little brother. But yeah, Bears Nation, you're looking good so far. But we've got the Giants in this one. Now with Saquon, it's interesting. We were talking about this. This could have been is it just me? But it's like Saquon with his stats, the way he runs, most of his runs are like 2 yards, 2.5 yards.
It's like 2 or 3 yard runs. It's like,
yeah, and then he'll have a 40 or 50 yard great run that'll inflate his stats and make it look like he had this great game. But if you really watch the game and watch Saquon, it's like he just doesn't get enough yards on most of his carries. It's just that those 1 or 2 carries where he'll hit a home run. But outside of that, doesn't really do much.
Yeah. Like you got to really just pay attention to the,
Yeah,
you
really got to watch it. You really got to watch that. But with that said, we still have the Giants, right?
Still have the Giants.
All right. So that's that one. So, okay. So the 6th game, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Philadelphia Eagles going against your Jalen Hurts, the guy that you are giving big props to. So who do we have in this one?
I do think that Jalen Hurts has a shot at winning MVP because, he's just improved. He's improved so much.
Yeah,
his accuracy and like as a passer. He was already a good passer, but like now he's like a 300-yard per game passer. And he's still a good runner too. So like, yes, the Eagles are going against the Jaguars. They had a big win against the Chargers, but I just think the Eagles are too good. Yeah. And they are a sneaky Super Bowl contender. Well, not really sneaky anymore because people are talking about it.
Yeah, I mean they're tough, man, especially at home. I mean they seem like they're going to be a juggernaut, and they are at home.
Yeah, I didn't even put that as a factor, but yeah.
Yeah, Hurts, man, very, very, very proud of him, man. The way that he has just gotten better every single year and evolved, and going even back to his Alabama days. To have Tua take his job, to switch over to go to Oklahoma. In the national championship game, to go to Oklahoma, continue on his career. I mean, just seems like, great guy, hard worker, and has just worked himself into the position he is in. So, and if he continues on, we'll be getting a very nice payday. So, big shout out to Jalen Hurts.
Yes. Really it is a contract here. Ooh, man, I forgot about that, man.
Perfect timing. All right, so we both have the Eagles in that one. So the 7th game, 7 out of 10 that we agree on, we have the mighty New York Jets traveling to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Who do we have in this showdown?
What a thriller. But yeah, I do have the Steelers. The Jets, they got their miracle win out of the way. So I just think it's going to be all downhill from here, and the Steelers with Najee are just going to run it all over them and just win that way, basically.
Yeah, I think the Steelers are definitely going to get this one now, but we do have to be careful with taking shots at the Jets because, again, their coach, he said he's taking receipts on everybody that's talking junk about the Jets. So we might get put on blast, you know what I mean? If we take a shot, we might get caught out, which actually that'll probably help our show. But anyway, so just something to keep in mind. So be careful taking shots at the Jets. All right. Keeping track. All right. There we go. All right. So let's move on to the 8th game. We have the Los Angeles Chargers. I keep wanting to say San Diego, so I stumbled here. But the Los Angeles Chargers are visiting the Houston Texans. Who do we have in this one?
Yep. Yeah, well, you better get used to Los Angeles because that big old stadium is going to be there forever. But yeah, they are going as the Texans. This game is at home. So you never know. That's the stat that you love to well, at least in week 1 that you love to use. But I do have the Chargers. They're bouncing back. I just think that last week it was just Herbert and his ribs. He's maybe came back a little too early. Maybe just get a couple days to rest them and get them ready for next week. But I just think that they're just too talented to lose to the Texans.
Yeah, I mean, the Chargers, man, have such a nice roster. So impressed with how they started the season. Hate to see Herbert get hurt. That definitely impacted them. I'm a little nervous about this game because they looked so bad at home last week. If it was anybody other than the Texans, maybe if they were playing the Jets, I would pick the Chargers. But anybody else, I might go against them because they look so bad, and I think it may take them a week or so and Herbert to recover. But man, I picked the Texans last week and lost on that going to the Bears. So I'm not picking the Texans again. So just because of that, I've got to go with the Chargers and just ride that out.
You're done with the Texans. Oh, and didn't you pick like the Chargers to be like the second seed in the AFC?
Yeah, I think I did.
Ooh. Yeah. Oh man, you picked the Bengals to be the 1 seed.
Again.
Jeez.
Yeah, man.
They can even win their division? Oh my gosh.
Might have to get on this bandwagon.
You might have to bring that out.
I might be next week.
I think you're going to.
I might be. Might be going to Miami. We'll see. All right. But anyway, so we have the Chargers in that game. So the 9th game, 9th out of 10 that we agree on, we have the New England Patriots traveling to Green Bay, Wisconsin, to play the Green Bay Packers. Who do we have in this one?
Yeah, we have the Green Bay Packers, just because of Aaron Rodgers and just how amazing he is. Yeah. And they are playing the Patriots, and their offense isn't really going to do a ton, even though they put up some points last week against that Ravens defense, which seems to be declining because they gave up like 42 against the Dolphins and gave up like a bunch against the Patriots. Yep. But yeah, and then Mac Jones got injured, and it seems like he's going to miss a couple weeks. So with that, I think they really have no shot because that was really one of the only bright spots on their team. But yeah, I got the Packers winning.
That's going to hurt me. The Packers have a really good defense, so I think the defense alone will be able to carry this. But I think Rodgers is starting to get a little bit of rapport with his receivers. I have to admit, I'm impressed with what I'm seeing. I mean, Rodgers isn't putting up monster numbers, but he's starting to build a good rapport, and as their receiving core gets more and more healthy, they're going to be a force. And, they've got the 2 really good running backs. So they definitely have this one at home, definitely taking the Packers here. Not much more to dig into on that one. And the last game, the last one to cover here, the 10th out of 10 that we agree on, we have your Denver Broncos led by the quarterback that you just took a shot at. We have them traveling to Vegas to play the Raiders. Who do we have in this one?
Yeah, we have the Raiders in this one, because I'm actually not completely done with the Raiders because, Derrick Carr has had some, bad starts this season and then somehow came back and made playoff runs and stuff. So it's crazy stuff. So I'm not going to give on them just yet. And, on the Broncos, I don't know if they can take that Raiders defense and just the Raiders offense too, because they have Adams and everything. But I do have to say, if the Raiders lose this and Adams doesn't really have another good game, then Adams might have to call Aaron Rodgers and be like,
he might have
you can come back, man.
Man, yeah.
Come back.
I know he is missing, being able to make his move and turn, and that ball being right there.
Yeah, right there before he even turned his head.
Now, I'm sure there's a lot of things that he does not miss, about being with the Raiders versus Packers, and some of the ways that Rodgers can be. But yeah, man, from a football standpoint, he has to miss that chemistry and that rapport. But hey, maybe they'll start to build that up. They're 0-3. They definitely need to get on the winning track. They're at home against their division rival. This is a game they've got to get. So yeah, we both have the Raiders as our who you got there. All right. Well, hey man, those are our picks. I'm going to, man, I might make up all 3 of these games that I'm behind and just really catch.
No, you are not doing that.
I think I'm definitely going to do that. I'm going to raise this money from my cause, the Jalen Rose Leadership Academy. You are getting the winning share here. I'm going to end up with a better overall record. But hey, before we go, we're almost out of time, but just to touch on fantasy football, excuse me, as we do every week, fantasy, I know you've got an interesting look on your face there. But yeah, fantasy football, we're both avid fantasy football players. You can look at our post earlier where we ranked the running backs, receivers, tight ends, all that stuff going into the season. And we're in the thick of it, man. So we actually play head-to-head week 5. So we have one more tune-up week before we play each other. And it's going to be so much fun before we do that. So I can't wait for that. I thought we were actually playing this week, but I got the schedule wrong. We play in week 5. But I play the commissioner, Smitty. So watch out, Commish. I'm coming at you here. And then we know you've got your matchup. But, man, what's going on? You had a great week 1. And in these last few weeks, man, you've been kind of sputtering a little bit. Haven't been able to put up points. Meanwhile, man, I'm in second. Just few points out of first. What's going on? What happened?
Yeah, well, it was another week of fantasy.
Another week of fantasy.
I did not play to my top standards, but as always next week, another game where I had under 75 points.
Oh my goodness!
So, but yeah, because it's all Burrow's fault, and it's all Carr's fault because Carr isn't throwing it to Adams, and it's Mixon's fault, and it's even the guys there that were DJ Moore's fault, and because Baker can't hit him, and then it's my kicker's fault because he got injured, and my other kicker's fault because he got cut, and then the Chargers' defense's fault because they got -3 points.
Oh, no, that's awesome.
Awesome.
And who would have thought that? So that's shocking.
Yeah, -3 points.
Yeah, that's terrible. That's terrible.
But Tony Pollard was good though.
Yeah, Pollard was the bright spot. You can't get on Burrow. I mean, Burrow's putting up 30 for you a game. So
no, he's not. He's only scored 31 times.
Okay, he scored what, 29? Okay, that's basically.
Yeah, but what about week 2? He got like 17.
That was 1 week. That was 1 week where he didn't perform up to his fantasy standards.
Yeah, Micah Parsons was just all over the place.
Well, he's gonna lose his mind this week because the Bengals are gonna come out and they're gonna show what they're made of. That offensive line, they're starting to get some cohesion. They're gonna be ready, and they are going to they're gonna keep me on the bandwagon. They're gonna go ahead and get this win, or else we know what's happening. All right, man. Well, hey, we're gonna let you get to it. You have your JV football game tomorrow. They moved it up a day, so we've got to get you. You got to do some homework, and you've got to go ahead and get ready for this game. So we're gonna let you get to that. Again, love doing this with you, man.
Yes.
And we are going to see everybody next week. So hey, thanks for checking us out. We really appreciate it. Comment, tell us what you think. Tell us who your team is. Just talk to us. We love going back and forth with you. So let's keep that dialogue going. And again, if you have a cause that you support, we definitely want to know about it, because as we get into our other seasons, as we get into the playoffs and we get into NBA time, we're going to be picking other causes to support. So let us know what cause you love, and we want to check it out and add it to our list. And again, like us, comment, subscribe. Until then, we'll see you guys next time. Have a fantastic week. It's going to be a great week of football. Pick 'em pros.
Pros out.